Welcome back to Just Joshing with Jakota. I'm Josh. This is Jakota. Today we are going to continue with the conversation left over from last week. But first, Happy New Year! Today is January 1st. What?
I forgot why you were yelling Why you were yelling. I was like,
Oh, it's Happy New Year. You gotta yell that, you know?
Just start yelling.
Just go all super loud. Wait, don't we have a microphone now?
Yeah.
Ah! In today's news! No. So, last week's conversation, we kind of ended it. Our homework was talking about things that we knew were going to happen just by having like a feeling.
Right.
And
like tapping into the future almost.
Yeah, kind of. Just having like being like, you know what? It's going to have some...
But not like Deja Vu though, right?
Not Deja Vu.
That wouldn't count.
Do you have any examples of Deja Vu?
Remember recently when we were at Alex's? I think it was the last time that we were there. Remember when you were right there? And I was like, whoa, Deja Vu. There's a guy that's going to walk right over here, right?
Yeah.
And then sure
does. Yeah. That was actually kind of crazy. Even though I didn't know what you were thinking of, it was kind of cool that yeah.
I called it though, right?
Yeah.
How crazy is that?
Yeah, that is weird. My example last week was when I got that bicycle that was on stage when we came in through the gym or whatever. All these bicycles on the stage. Didn't know what they were there for. Had no knowledge of them until I got in there, and I was like, all right, I think I'm going to get one of these. They call my name, and I'm like, oh yeah. Like, I was ready to go up. Like, I knew I was going to go up. I go up. I get my bike.
How old were you?
I was grade 3, I think.
Okay, so you got to think, at this young age, like, what's even going through your head? Like, how do you even... I don't know. I feel like when you're young, you don't have any idea what the hell's going on. So,
no, you don't.
So, like, I can't, like, even imagine what as a kid, just going, yeah, that's mine. Like, you already just predetermined it. You already knew.
I have no idea. I just knew it. I just knew, for whatever reason, I just knew that bike. Well, I didn't know which bike, but I knew a bike was going to be mine. And, yeah, it was. It was too small, so they actually had to order in a bigger one.
Right.
But then I drove that bike home. I was just like, hell yeah, I knew I was going to get this.
That's crazy. That's, I mean, that story is obviously way cooler. Well, the one that I'm about to tell you.
Obviously.
Well, I'm telling you right now that your story, winning a bike, knowing that you're going to get a bike is way cooler than what happened to me. So I was in grade 5, okay? 5 or 6, I believe. And it was the end of the year, and at the end of the year, in some schools they do different things, different schools. At this particular school that I went to, this school that I went to as a child in grade 5.
That you didn't work at.
Did not work at.
It's like, when was your first job? Oh, when I was a kid, I worked at the school.
No, sorry. That's not what I meant to say. No school.
You frequented it for the sole purpose of learning.
Yeah, to actually do schoolwork, which
right.
is ironic.
Ironic?
Is it ironic? I don't know.
No.
You go there to do the work. So at the end of the year, it's like a party thing or whatever. So
like on the last day?
Last day of school, right. Last day of the school year. So my teacher, either she bought some things or she took them from her own kids or whatever she did. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like she had these goodies for the students that were, I guess in my class. Anyways, so what we did was like we sat in a circle, right?
Okay.
Kind of like if you were trying to summon the devil, right? We all sat in chairs, and so there was like you knew what the prize was before. So basically, what it is.
Okay, hold on, back up. Okay, no, go on. It sounds like you were just about to answer the question I was just going to ask.
So you would write your name on a piece of paper, and then you would throw it in the hat, and then she would have the hat up at the front of the circle.
Okay.
And
so the gifts were unwrapped. Then.
Right.
So that's how you knew what they were.
Right. So it wasn't Christmas or anything. It was just
end of the year.
End of the year.
Okay.
The teacher bought some cool things.
Slash probably not cool.
Right. I mean, we're in grade 5. How?
Right.
Right. You're not really. Yeah.
So you're like, man, there ain't even a single PlayStation in here.
No.
Lame.
Right. So it wasn't anything crazy expensive, right? So it was like arts and crafts kind of things and stuffed animals and whatever.
Right.
Just fun stuff. Anyways, like out of all these things, I was like, okay, well, there's some things that I wanted, right? That I wish that I would have gotten called for, but I didn't. But it was like the last prize, okay? And I to my knowledge, I think not everyone got something. So it was like extra special if you got something, right?
Dude, that's kind of dirty.
I know it is. But you know what? I might be wrong. But to my knowledge, it was
to your recollection.
Right, to my recollection, because it was. I was like, okay, well, if my name didn't get called, I wouldn't have won anything, right?
Right.
So that's. I'm just guessing that not everyone did, because if I wouldn't have got named, my name would. Because yeah, for what I remember, not everyone got a gift. So it was the last gift, and I was like, okay, well, it was a monkey. It was a gorilla monkey thing, right? And it was holding a banana. It was a stuffed animal. It was about this big.
Okay.
And I thought it was awesome. I for some reason, I really liked it. I actually enjoy monkeys. I'm not gonna lie. Like monkeys are my top animal.
Right.
If I was to own an animal, a monkey would be.
And I mean.
Right. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's so funny. Actually.
They actually just happen to be.
I actually love this thing to death.
Oh, me too.
Right.
When we got these, I was like, well, when I got mine, I was like, yo, this thing is so cool.
Yeah, I know. I wish I would have been there when you opened yours, because I had no idea that I was getting one. So like I was like extra when I was like, loved it. But anyways, so I, for whatever reason, I knew that I was gonna get the monkey, right? Like we were in the circle, right? And I like,
so the prizes were going get dwindling down, and then
right.
You saw the monkey, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, I was like, that's the one I'm getting, right? In my head, I was like, I swear I must have I was tense until I saw the monkey. I was like, oh, there's my prize, right? Like right. There it is, it's right there. So I just sit back.
Like, what am I worried about?
Just waiting, right? And then pulled my name out of the hat, and I won. I got it, and I knew it.
The teacher, if she had a bunch of prizes, she would be like, pick one up, and then she'd pick out a name.
Right. Yeah.
And be like, okay, so the notepad is
right
to Jakota.
Right. Exactly.
Okay, right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then you saw when she picked up the monkey, you're like, oh, that one's mine.
That one's mine. Right. I knew it. For whatever reason, like this, I don't know. I just knew it was like it was set in stone in my head.
Right, like fate.
Right.
That's like, it kind of makes me wonder, like, ever since, actually both of us, ever since we were really young, we knew we weren't going to have regular jobs. Right? I never wanted a regular job.
Neither did I. I actually wanted to be a rock star at one point.
Yeah. I never knew that I would do YouTube, and I never knew that I would do art necessarily, because I was, as we've said, I wanted to be a magician.
Right.
I also wanted to be a professional BMX
rider.
Right.
I do remember
right?
that.
And I remember.
Huh. Wow.
I remember.
I kind of did too, actually. That's weird. I was never really good at BMX, though.
I got pretty decent. And I remember I left my BMX bike at one of our friends' houses, and their parents gave it away to someone.
What?
Yeah. Because they wanted me to go pick it up, but I couldn't for whatever reason. So they put it in the back alley, and someone took it. And years later, I don't know if you actually know this, but years later, probably, so that would have been when I was a kid. I was probably grade 7 or 8. And I remember finding it at the dump, because where I live, there's no garbage pickup. We have to go to the dump. And I found that bike like 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago.
Way.
Yes. And you know how I know what it was? That it was mine? It was in pieces, and I see it there, and I'm like, that kind of looks like a Kuwahara. I'm like, I had a Kuwahara.
Uh-huh.
And it was chrome, and this one was chrome, and I'm like, oftentimes the sticker is missing off the front. I look at it, I'm like, wait a minute.
Did you find your blood all over it too? That's how you knew. You were like,
Well, how I eventually knew the sticker was a clue because often the sticker is gone, and mine had a sticker, although it could have been removed. But then I remember switching out my handlebars for GT handlebars because I liked the GT handlebars better than the Kuwahara handlebars. They were lower and they were angled up a little better,
right.
So they're better for doing tricks. And I'm like, it's just the frame. No pedals, no tires, no wheels, nothing. It was just the frame. And then I'm looking around, and then I see GT handlebars. The grips weren't on it. If it had the white grips on it, I would have been even more floored. But I see the handlebars, and I'm like, and then I see, because I tried to hacksaw off the ends.
Okay.
And the hacksaw marks are there.
No.
And I was like,
did you take it?
yes, I took it.
Yeah.
I put it up in my studio.
Nice.
And, well, I don't have that studio anymore. The shell is still there, and it's being used for other things, so I still have it on the wall.
Right.
I'm going to put it in the new one.
Yo.
But when I saw it, dude, I was like, it was like being reunited with a friend. That sounds super lame, but I was just like, I was like, wow. You know, it's not a friend.
Dude, I haven't seen you in a while. Well, that's kind of stupid, so.
That's not what I mean. That's not what I mean. But anyways, I used to want to be a BMX rider. Then I used to want to be a magician. I just knew I wanted to do something different. And now I do art, and then kind of YouTube is a sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And you do YouTube now. And then we do this show now, which we're trying to figure out what we're doing. And we have like other things on the go, kind of behind the scenes that we're kind of trying to figure out and stuff. All in the pursuit of being happy at work.
Right. Oh, absolutely. 100%.
Right? Because like I work every day, even though I don't have a truck now, so I can't leave. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, I'm happy with what I do now, and it's a good thing that it pays the bills, because if it didn't, then it wouldn't matter if I was happy or not, because I would be homeless.
Right. See,
but
wow. That's funny, because when I think about being happy, it doesn't even necessarily mean that I have a lot of money.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't have any money,
right?
So.
Yeah, no, same. I can relate. Man, I think I'm happy with where I am in life because I know that it's just going to get better, right? Like there's...
Oh, yeah, you got to start somewhere.
I feel like I'm at the peak of my life right now. You know what I mean?
What? The peak?
Or sorry, that's not what I meant. Like I haven't reached the peak of my life, right? Like it's like I'm still down here. My peak is way up here.
Oh, you're working on
right. Like you know how some people say that he peaked in high school and now he's just a bum.
Right.
Right.
All those people. You know what? Sorry. Go on. Finish your thought.
I just feel like I didn't. That wasn't me.
Right.
Right. Like I have things to offer and
right.
I have skills and I've acquired blah 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 blah.
And you plan on learning more and doing more.
I have goals and aspirations.
Yeah. It's sad though when you see like the cool kids that were from high school and they're just, not that they're losers, but they're just
they didn't
continue on with their glory days.
Right.
Their glory days are that's sad.
Yeah.
That sucks. I mean, I didn't go to high school, so I didn't get to be a cool kid or a non-cool kid, but I don't think I would have been one of those people who would be like, well, I used to be cool, so that's good enough. Oh, I used to be interesting, or I used to be good at something.
There are a lot of people that will say that. Holy cow, I didn't even realize.
They'll be like, yeah, I remember this one football game in high school. Dude, this one time in high school, so what?
Yeah, that's over.
Wait, you were a child.
Uh-huh.
Like, grow up a little bit
and
continue to do stuff now.
I loved high school, I'm not going to lie. I had a blast, so I mean...
there's nothing wrong with being a cool kid in high school. I mean, as long as it doesn't come at the cost of someone else being...
Right.
Like, bullied or whatever.
Sure, no, I agree on that. Yeah, high school is weird.
You know what's kind of like high school, though, is...
Real life?
YouTube comments.
Everyone hates you? Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I get you.
Like, well, except for in high school, you're not, if you stick up for yourself, you're not an asshole, but in YouTube comments, if you stick up for yourself.
Yeah, it's weird how that is, huh?
Right?
I think it's because you're held to a higher, people have a vision of who they think you are, and they want you to fit that cookie cut image.
Right.
Right?
And that's why you shouldn't pretend to be something you're not.
Right, exactly.
Like, on my channel, what you see is what you get. I just don't curse in my channel because that's a respect thing, because
Right.
lots of people don't enjoy hearing F-bombs flying out. But in real life, I curse probably too much.
Right.
And so that's one thing I don't do. But everything else is what you see is what I am in real life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so talking about YouTube comments here, what I was thinking of versus high school. In high school, or any school, I guess I wouldn't know too much about high school, but let's say junior high is pretty close. You can, if someone says something to you that you don't like, you can say something back, and no one goes like, oh yeah, you should have let it roll off your back. Like,
Right.
they expect you to retaliate.
And it's, well, I mean, you gotta think too, when you're a kid, it's a lot different than being an adult.
Yeah, that is
Right?
true.
There's other
That is
factors.
true. That is true. But I mean, the contrast is so severe. Even
Yeah.
though like YouTube is, or any, and it doesn't even have to be YouTube. If you say something for like the sake of like sticking up for yourself, and it comes at the expense in a joke or in an insult to someone else, suddenly you become the ass. Even if they were an ass like first, and if they were like, man, that was such shit that you put out, I can't believe you made this video, you deserve to die. And then
Right.
that's pretty severe. But then if you say something back that is clever and funny and whatever, or witty, or just mean, or whatever,
Right.
no matter what,
That's
they were
funny.
like, don't give these people attention, you're better than that.
That's-
You're like,
yeah.
what?
Uh-huh.
What do you mean?
Yo, that actually reminds me of something that actually happened. There was, not to me though. You know who George Lopez is?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so on Twitter, okay, I don't even know how long ago this happened. Some white girl says to George Lopez, "Hey, I think you need to go back to Mexico."
What?
Okay, that's what she said. That's what she tweeted. Okay, so then George Lopez's response was "F you," right?
Right.
That's all he said was "F you," right? Then some person attacked George Lopez for saying "F you." Okay, this is what he said. He said something like, "Oh my gosh, yeah, like I can't believe you said that. You're attacking an innocent girl that just shared her opinion." And I was like, "What?" I kept reading it, and then so George Lopez's response to that guy was, "F you." Perfect example of like this girl shits on George Lopez, then George Lopez retaliates with just
Right.
saying "F you," and then he also, he treated them exactly the same, which is hilarious. Which I thought was funny.
Yeah.
But it's like
That
ridiculous.
is funny. He's a comedian.
Yeah,
so
he's a comedian.
That
so
was perfect.
too good, but
That-
ridiculous.
That's weird that you would, like, I'm not saying that the girl who told him to go back to Mexico or go to Mexico is racist, but that sounds like she's probably racist.
Probably
Right?
a
So,
little
like, just off of that information, I think it's safe to say that she's probably racist. Why the heck would you take the side of the racist?
I really don't know.
Unless you yourself
I
are
don't
racist.
know.
I would have been, if I saw that and I was like, wait, what that was kind of harsh. What did she say?
Right.
Oh, go back to Mexico?
Well,
okay, that's a little...
come on.
Maybe he could have said something else, but why should he?
Why should he, right? You're saying go back to Mexico.
That's, yeah, what the
You're
hell?
like, I wasn't even born there. What are you talking about? I don't think he was born
I
there.
don't know where he's actually from, but
Yeah.
like, even still, like...
He does live in the States, though, so... he was like, you know George Lopez, right?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, his
Yeah.
show, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's kind of what I'm talking about. That is... It's as if people don't see what the actual problem is. You
Right.
sticking up for yourself or retaliating is not... Why can't you do that? Why should you not... I can see why taking the higher ground is better.
Right.
But why should you have to?
I think it's because of older values and stuff. Like these days, the kids these days are like bonkers off the wall, right? They don't. They view things differently and think
Right.
So like take the high road, right? Like that's like an old, like I don't. What am I trying to say here? It's like that the older generations are like that, right? People nowadays are like, no, you said something to me, I'm gonna get you.
Right. I think that always was though, because like,
sure, maybe, but like
there's more people on the planet now,
so
the people who stick up for themselves are more plenty. So
times are changing. You gotta think that back in the day, people would be like, "You blockhead," right? Like that's
you blockhead,
right? That's not
you dweeb. I can't believe you did that. You.
That's the same thing, right? Like they had that. That was a bad word, you blockhead, right? Like that's right. But now, like you can't. Everything is changing, and there's people with different views on respect and just life in general. Just things are changing, and I think that's why a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people just don't even understand as well.
So do you think that if it was just younger generations, then it wouldn't be let's call it a mark on your on your name to stick up for yourself? Do you think if everyone was young, let's say, what's young though? I don't know. Like
if everyone, let's
say that generation passed away and it was just our generation and younger. Sticking up for yourself would no longer be a bad thing. Like
I don't think it's
in a way that makes the other person look stupid. Like so, for example, George saying "F you," that makes the girl. Well, I guess it doesn't make her look bad, but it's pretty harsh just to say "F you." But I think it was warranted.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, like
you can say other words. He probably could have come up with something that was hilarious, but he didn't.
You gotta think this guy probably gets that all the time.
Oh, probably.
Right? So,
so he's sick of it.
Yeah, you can't even imagine. Like you gotta think. Some people say you could have said it differently. It's like, well, when you're in a situation where you're
right, I didn't have the time that you have to think about it now.
Right, exactly.
At the time,
people are bombarded with like crazy. People are crazy. Okay, people will say unbelievable things, and it takes a certain person to understand. I mean, I don't understand everybody's. People think and how right, but I have a firm grip on what not to say or what is acceptable to say. I mean, like I would never tell somebody to go back to a country that I think that they're from. Like that's ridiculous. Like how it's ridiculous to think that I would say something like that and then have no repercussions.
Yeah, because that's an ignorant thing to say.
Yeah, exactly. Like that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. So these people on YouTube that are saying
whatever,
things,
yeah,
and then people, these YouTube creators, or not even just YouTube, just anyone will get ridiculed
for sticking up for themselves,
right? Which I think is insane.
It's
but also, you know what's crazy? I also agree because I myself am a creator, and I myself have plenty of people that are saying
comments where you're like, wait. That's not accurate.
Somebody got mad at me because I didn't answer a question that they had. Apparently, they said they asked the question multiple times, and I say in my this was on my Madness Monday live, which is for the people that we hang out with.
Tune in every Monday at 7 p.m. Mountain Time.
So the show is getting bigger, and more people are commenting. So back when I first started, I was able to read every single one without it piling up, and then my thing is getting smaller, and I have to read more stuff, and I'm behind.
Right.
I'll ask a question, they'll answer it, and I get back to it 5 minutes later. It's it gets ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
So I try and people are talking amongst themselves, so I skip them. I'm like, okay, that sounds like it's directed at somebody else, right? So it's more difficult to get to answer every question. So this person. They got angry with me and said that.
Are you sure they were angry though? That's another thing though, right? You don't know what the other person.
That is true,
right?
Over text
you lose a lot. Eye contact does a lot.
Right.
Tone does a lot.
It does.
But let's just assume they got angry. Yeah.
No, it was pretty. They used caps. They used caps, so they were.
Okay, yeah. Caps lock nowadays, that means. It either means you're excited or that you're mad.
Right. There's
some other.
Hey, I'm very happy right now. Well, I guess
depending on the words that they're saying.
Depends on the context too. Yeah.
What? Okay, so they were like, why aren't you answering my question?
I asked 5 times, and like I didn't even reply to it because
You didn't want to entertain that.
yeah, like I feel like
you shouldn't be rewarded for being like, dude. You can clearly see I'm reading random questions here, random comments.
Yeah, yes, and it's never. I'm never choosing one person over another. Right?
Yeah.
It's always. I'm seeing the questions now, and I'm going to answer them as I see them, or I try to answer all of them, but sometimes it just doesn't happen. So you'll get people that will.
Yeah, absolutely. I get the same thing where people say, and it'll get passive aggressive. They'll be like, well, I'll try one more time, blah, 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 whatever their question or comment is, and then I'll see it. And then sometimes I'll be like, well, this person said very sarcastically, I'll try one more time, blah, 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 and then I'll read their question.
Right.
But I don't want anyone to think that I'm ignoring anyone because it's random. Mm-hmm. If I do a contest, it's random. I don't play favorites. I try to make it as fair as possible because there's so many people. Same with like replying to Facebook and Instagram. There's so many messages.
Right.
So you try to get to them, and then you're short because you still have 13 more things that you got to reply to. Right. Plus you got your real life going on that you have to, do, whatever, and then you don't have time to necessarily have long form conversation via text with random people who you don't know, so it's hard to keep track of what the different conversations are sometimes. So, yeah, but I think most people get that.
Yeah, for the
that's
most
hard
part.
To do.
But there's always going to be those people that, I think are just miserable. So they have nothing.
Oh, there will be, but I think most people aren't. Like when you see the comments that are negative or not even negative, they just think they know what you should do versus what you know you are going to do because you know what's best because you're there, unless you're asking opinions, of course.
Yeah.
But I always just want to be like, although I don't value your opinion, thanks for watching, because I do appreciate every view that I get because that's the goal, is to get views, but I don't necessarily do it to get paid, although that's a nice bonus. Like, I want people to buy my art. That's why I do YouTube.
Man, that's so weird to me. Like, saying... Like, people that say, oh, I don't care about anyone else's opinion. Like that...
Oh, I want them to like me, but I don't care if they don't.
So that's what you mean when you say you don't care what other people think.
Right, yeah. I want them to like me, and I'm happy that they do. My goal is to have them like me, because my goal is to make a living off of what I do. And, I think I'm a nice person. I don't want people to be like, man, that guy's a real jerk. Unsubscribe. I want them to be like, oh man, I wish I was friends with this dude because he seems like a nice guy. Or not necessarily that, but So when someone doesn't like me, oh well. I'll get over it because I don't even know who you are, and I don't even know if I want to be friends with you.
Right.
But that's not the first thought. My first thought is, I like everyone. I want everyone to like me. But if you happen to not, oh well.
Okay, so
right?
that makes I like how you said that better, because not like, I think that it's important to
get opinion. So when I say I don't care, I don't value your opinion. But thanks for watching. It would be that person. It wouldn't be everyone.
Right.
And it even if it's someone who's a naysayer, or not necessarily but they have like some sort of criticism. I value those things because it's good for learning. It's good for growing. It's good for it's not exclusive. It's just a facet of how I go about living my own life.
Right.
Because if you dwell on what other people think constantly, where are you going to get to? You're just going to feel bad about yourself.
I agree with that.
I've had enough of that growing up, feeling bad about myself, feeling this, feeling that, whatever. I don't need it to carry on because I already know, or this is pretty arrogant to say, but I think I'm pretty awesome, right? I know I'm awesome. I think I do cool stuff. I think that I'm pretty interesting. Of course, not to everyone, because some people are lame, but...
I think I'm none of those things.
I think you are, though.
It's so weird, huh? It's so weird how, self-esteem, has a huge impact.
Oh, yeah.
on like I think that it is. I think that not only does it like for who you are, like it. I think that your self-esteem directly affects where you go in life.
Oh, definitely. But also, if you have a low self-esteem, sometimes you have. Hold on, Ken was telling me about this the other day. We did the 16 personality things, and actually you did it too.
I did that.
We both happened to be the same thing. What was it again? I forget what it was.
About, like traveling, wasn't it?
No, it was like something. Campaigner. We were campaigner.
What did I say?
Traveling
camper. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Campaigner.
So we both happen to be campaigner, and a lot of the things, if you read up on it, it makes sense. I forget what the letters are that I am and what you are. I think those are the same too, but whatever. I don't remember. But having all those paragraphs of like you're this, you're this, you're this. A lot of them were so super accurate for myself. Some of them were a little off, and I mean they're bound to be off because everyone's an individual. But same with yours. When we read yours, a lot of that was accurate. Some of it wasn't.
A lot of it was accurate. Yeah.
What was I saying though?
You were saying
ADD. We both have ADD.
Yeah.
Or I wasn't diagnosed, but just based off of your diagnosis, I just say that I have ADD because
I have ADHD.
Okay.
That's
why you're always fidgeting?
Always moving, always like that's why we forget a lot. Or I know for me, like when you have ADHD, like and you'll have a thought and then like you'll be like, oh, that reminds me of this, and then you'll go to that thought, and then that thought's already freaking gone.
Yeah, I've been trying to like hold on to what the initial thought was, like just now, but I forget what we were talking about.
We were talking about the personality test and how we were talking about self-esteem.
Oh yeah, so I was talking. Yeah, you saved us, or you saved me. So Ken, one of our older brothers, he was saying that if your self-esteem is low, your ego will sometimes try to compensate, and that kind of like gets in your way as well. So even if you have a low self-esteem, sometimes if you have a big ego or you have an unhealthy ego, then that will be like, oh, don't worry about it. We'll take care of this by being X.
That's weird. How you can have a low self-esteem but a high ego,
and it compensates. And then the things that you do get, like you do manage to do, it kind of is sloppy because your ego
tells you that you're
that you're good at it, or you got this, whatever. But you don't, because you don't have the experience, because you have low self-esteem. So you don't actually have the experience. Like you haven't like. I'm also terrible at speaking English, finding words. I don't know what the words are I'm trying to say, but you kind of have trouble just building up this self-esteem because you have low self-esteem and your ego gets in the way. So you have like, I don't know how to say it, but
so it's like it's almost wow. It's like a double.
You know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, you have low self-esteem, unhealthy ego, but that's not always the case.
No,
that's just can be the case.
Can be the case.
Which some people can get away with it, and it works for them, and it's fine. But other people, like, you can watch their world burn because they're so not with themselves because they're like swinging for the fences, and with like a golf club rather than a baseball bat.
And you know what's crazy is, I think that I don't think these people want to have.
Oh no! No one wants
to be in that situation.
No one wants low self-esteem.
It's like how do you?
That's like
some people don't know how to approach certain things. That's with anything though, with like mental illness in any form.
Yeah, exactly. Is that a mental illness? I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe I don't know, but I know that it has your mental health.
It's sort of.
It's definitely your mental health for sure.
Yeah.
Right. Your self-esteem. It's what you think about yourself.
Since I stopped practicing medicine, I actually don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to that.
Wait, what?
I've never practiced medicine.
Yeah, I was going to say, wait, did you go to college for this when I wasn't here?
Dude, if you don't get I almost said if you don't go to high school, you don't typically go to college. But I should clear that up because I might be. So I didn't go to I started going to high school and then I dropped out in grade 10. You know this. I don't know. I'm talking to you like you don't know. But
I do know this.
Right? Dropped out in grade 10. Then I went back to school for grade 10 and 11. I did both of those in the same year doing outreach correspondence. And then dropped out again because I was broke and I moved out and all sorts of things. And I was like, okay, well, I need to work. I need to get a job. And so I go and get a job. Well, I already had the job, but I started doing it full time. Stopped going to school. I remember the principal calling me almost every day for like 2 weeks, asking if I was going to come. And I said, I'll come tomorrow. I'll come tomorrow. Even though I knew I wasn't going to. So then I stopped. So in grade 12, I didn't do anything. And then I waited too long so that I couldn't graduate or whatever.
Bummer.
So then what I ended up doing is getting, what is it when it's not a diploma, but you still...
your GED?
Yes. So I got Ashley to do all of my schoolwork.
No way.
All of it, like modules. So when you do the correspondence, it's not, you don't have to go to class, right? You just get the schoolwork.
Right.
You do the assignments. You hand them in for whatever
evaluation.
Marks. Yeah, and then your marks, if you pass whatever, then you can write the test. So the only thing I did a few modules that were a little easier because, believe it or not, I'm not very book smart. So I did the ones that I could do. Ashley did all the science and math ones because she's way smarter at that kind of stuff.
Right.
I just did. I was pretty good at language arts because I was writing stories and stuff. I think I'm pretty creative, so I was able to do that kind of stuff, do those kind of assignments. I wasn't very good at some of the sentence structure and stuff, so I had to correct that stuff a lot. But once I had all that done, I went and took the test at the high school. I walk in, I see a bunch of people who I know who are a little younger than me, a few years younger than me, and I'm like, man, so I'm walking, finding my name, sit down. And when you take these tests, like it's multiple choice.
Right.
And it's like A, B, C, D. Sometimes there's an E as well, right? And then you circle it in. I can't do those because I'll read say 15 questions, and then I'll be like, okay, enough of this noise, and I'll start circling.
Really?
Random. I'll do like patterns where it'll be like A, B, C, D, and then CBA, and then like I'll make like, dude. So I got 75% as a class mark, and somehow miraculously, because I didn't read most, I was the first one done, dude.
Right.
I was like, everyone's quiet, and I'm like, I can see everyone's still writing, and I'm like, okay, I'll just wait a little bit. But I get 75% even though I didn't write anything. And I remember shaking my boots, being like, I'm done way too soon, as if that somehow would affect my mark.
Right.
I go look around, I look around, I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to wait here in this gym any longer. I get up, you can hear me walk up, hand in my thing, and I bet you could even hear, like just muffled,
right?
Because I'm trying to be like, okay, I'm done. Is this all I have to do? But probably everyone else was hearing like just, okay, bye. Right? And then I'm just like, I'm leaving, and I'm like, oh, I'll probably have to do that again. But I got 75%, which is amazing.
And you guessed on half.
Yeah, because in junior high, I was getting grace marks. In junior high, passing was 50%.
Right.
I had, I don't know how many 50% marks.
Right.
And that was grace marks because I probably got like 46.
Right.
Right? I remember one time, my favorite teacher I've ever had, Mr. Shock, he thought I cheated because I got 99% one time. But I just knew it. I was interested. I managed to stay focused on whatever this course was. I can't remember what it was exactly, but I do remember getting 99% on the test for that course, and him being like, he hands it to me, and he points to it, and he's like, what's this about? And I was like, what?
Wow.
I was like, dude, I got 99%? I couldn't believe it, dude. I was so happy.
I don't think I've ever gotten 99% on anything.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I've only ever gotten 100% on my in art class and in gym.
I think on a spelling test I got 100% once.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't really good at school either, but that's funny. Okay, that reminds me of something. We were talking about modules, right? Okay, so when I lived in Arizona, I was in grade 12, right?
How many times?
I was in grade 12 3 times. Yes, I was in grade 12 3 times. So for the third time that I was in grade 12, there was this girl that I fancied, okay? And she asked me to do some of her schoolwork for her, right? And
she asked you?
Yes, she asked me, okay?
Why?
She goes, hey, I got these modules, and it was like history or something, where you had to do a lot of reading, okay? So she also did like the program where you did modules, and then I think it was called A+, I believe.
What, does that mean you're smarter or
called,
dumber?
No, it's called A+. I can't even remember why. But it was like you read, and then you fill out the questions, a lot like what's here. Where you read the thing. Right. But this was on the computer. Okay.
Okay.
So it was like 2012, or 2011 or something.
Whenever, yeah.
Yeah. So, they were using the computers. Anyway, so this girl that I was like, this girl is cute. So I was like, okay, so I could do this girl's work, and then she could possibly like me. But she also said, I will pay you to do my schoolwork. Okay. So I was like, okay.
What made her think that you could do it?
I don't know. I was like, okay, so this girl's very cute. I could get brownie points, and I'm going to get money for this? Sign me up, okay? So it was like 10, 12 freaking things that I had to do, right? And they were long. I was like, oh, no. I think I bit off more than I could chew, okay? And I had never learned any of this stuff. This is all American class stuff, right? Stuff that I have no idea what the hell is going on, okay?
Right. Just so if anyone doesn't know, we're Canadian. We grew up in Canada.
Yeah.
Mostly Canadian.
Yeah. So
schooling.
Right. Exactly. So yeah, got the modules. I started banging out numbers that I didn't get on my own damn work. Okay. I'm cheering for myself. 88%. Yeah. Right. Banging out these. I was so excited about the marks that I got that I would tell her, and I'd be like, we got 88, 97. Yeah, there were. I'm not gonna lie. I cheated a lot because I would just copy and paste, go to Google, be like this. But there were times where you couldn't, right? So these answers were in the middle of the module. It's like I'm not gonna freaking read all this just to figure out one answer. So like I guessed on a lot, but the tests. So, like, you could cheat on the modules, you could not cheat on the test, right?
Right.
It would know if you exited the screen
okay.
Right? So, on those tests that I was banging out, those high-ass numbers, that was all me, okay? I had no idea. Just like how you randomly did the thing, I randomly just, bam, this answer, right? And I passed every single thing. I never got below 70, I don't think. I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, when you really put your mind to something, you really know how to, like, you just bang these. I got good tests because, like, I was like, okay, well, this girl's cute. I might get her number.
Had some motivation.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, bam, bam, bam. And I did it, and it was crazy, but I hella cheated. I actually, you know what's crazy? I actually ended up, for those of you that care, yes, I did get her number, and yes, I did, she kissed me. So, it worked out in the end. Yeah, I did it, passed it, got the number, but not for very long. She wasn't interested. I think she was just like, yeah, she paid me. I can't believe she actually paid me. She paid me with cash, too. She was like, here's $300. I was like,
she paid you $300?
300 smackarooskies, yeah.
Nice, that's pretty good for high school.
Yeah, right? Whoa. But yeah, very, very cool. I totally forgot about that until we talked about it.
Man, yeah, I'd never heard that story either. That's pretty nefarious, but not really. Like, that's a...
Man, that's cool as hell, man. Are you kidding me? Like, I could have, potentially could have had a girlfriend because of it, but it never worked out. But, yeah, still nefarious. That's a crazy word.
Yeah, I don't know if that's correct. Probably not nefarious. Nefarious would be like egging the school, which maybe, do you have any egging stories?
I don't have. I mean, I have vandalism stories, but I don't. I mean, egging is vandalism.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess I have.
Okay, well, why don't we save that, for our homework for next week or something? I don't know, because I like, not that I'm into vandalizing anything anymore, but when I was a kid,
Right.
well, man, we got up to some, like, stupid things when we were little.
Shenanigans.
So why don't we save that for homework for next week or something like that?
So we're gonna talk about some vandalism that we might have done when we were
Allegedly
kids.
done. When we were kids. Children,
Right.
statutes of
Kids.
limitations are way over.
Right. So yeah, we can't get it. We're not gonna get in trouble.
Some mischief, some childhood mischief,
Right.
maybe. Based off of nefariousness. I don't know what what you did is not nefarious. It's a conniving. Conniving?
Ooh.
Is that the right word? I don't know.
Conniving.
But let's save nefarious stuff for next week or something like
Okay.
that. In the meantime, if you want to know what we're up to, check out our independent.
I like
No.
that word. Yeah.
Okay, let's call it independent social medias and YouTube channels. All that stuff will be linked in the description if you want to check out that. That would be appreciated. I'm looking forward to next week.
Me too. I love talking about bad stuff.
All right, see you guys.
All right.
I just did your sign off.
Oh, thanks for watching.
Cause do you get it? Nefarious?
Right.
Cause I'm making fun of you.
Right. Wow. Thanks, man.